So here with another WNBA slate breakdown, and it's not just any old breakdown. Today is the first day of the WNBA playoffs. That's right, we have finally made it to the postseason, and we have the 8 best teams, according to the standings, playing for the playoffs for that chip. We already are going to have the defending champions going up tonight in the Chicago Sky, checking on the New York Liberties. That's going to be at 8. And then who I believe are going to be this year's WNBA champions, the Las Vegas Aces. They just look unstoppable through the regular season. I don't see how they don't win the chip this year. Becky Hammond, she's done a great job with that offense. She's leading them. She's leading charge. And then you just have, to me, MVP winner, Aja Wilson. I'm just going to go ahead and crown her now. But you got Aja Wilson out there, and she's just been leading this team, taking over by storm. And I just don't see who is going to stop them. I don't see the Suns being able to stop them. Not the Suns, the Sun being able to stop them. I don't see the Storm being able to stop them, honestly, and not even the Sky. They've proven it throughout the regular season. To me, they're my betting favorite to win the chip this year, bearing any crazy type of injury or something like that. And I mean, honestly, they're still clicking in all cylinders, even when De'Arica Hamby, who started out great to start the season, she cooled off in the middle of the season, really phased out towards the end, and now she's out with the injury. They still have been rolling. Really, that three-headed monster with the guards and Jackie, Plum, and Chelsea Gray, and then just Aja down low. It's just been masterclass. But I digress. I went to the left. Anyway, if you guys are new here, welcome to the No Days Off DFS show. I am going to be breaking down WNBA today. We will have more shows coming out. We have NFL coming up, college football coming up. And you know what? If you want to join the No Days Off DFS fam, check down the link in the description below for the Patreon. We drop our course, our slate breakdowns, prize picks, sports battle, underdog, all those props. We're dropping things for all those sites, not only for WNBA, but for NFL when that starts to pick up, college football. We have golf, we have NASCAR, we have esports. You name it, we got it. And we have a really nice knit community that we have inside of our Discord as well. Getting a little tongue tied, guys. All right, I'm not going to waste any time. I like the 2 games on tonight's slate. Definitely some spots that we can pick and choose. Draftkings is going to be the site that I'm using to reference in regards to prices. I might drop a little bit of a price pick player two here or there, but really this is focused on a DFS perspective for a breakdown, considering that I have gone back to my DFS roots and I've really started playing again. I came so close from a Kennedy Carter and Odyssey Sims was the difference in me taking down the 2K prize 2 days ago for the WNBA. That right there. That little small margin, I messed up and locked Odyssey Sims into my line when I meant to play Carter. Completely forgot about the fact that NECA was going to more than likely sit and be out, and that Carter might have gotten more run, more burn since it was last game of the season. Completely with that. And you know what? Mistakes were made, but still wasn't a bad night. I think I made 200 that night anyway, and I was only playing $24. So pretty decent night. Hoping to keep it rolling. Price picks, not price picks. DraftKings, they have a pretty nice 5K up top board for tonight. So definitely go ahead and get in there. It's only $5 to get into this, which normally is 15. Definitely, I would take advantage of that. If you guys are definitely looking to dabble in some DFS, definitely DraftKings. They have my stamp of approval. I love them. I use them for NFL and NBA. This is typically my side to play. I'm not a big fan of FanDuel, but I'm not going to trash them by any means because it's not what the show is about. All right, first game on the slate, we have New York Libs taking on the Chicago Sky. We've already seen this matchup 4 times throughout the season. This comes in at 166.5 total with a 10-point spread in favor of the Sky, of course. Now, these teams, they've met 4 times throughout the season, and the Chicago Sky, they took 3 out of those 4 meetings. We've had up and down results throughout all these meetings. If you go back and look at them, one of them was Sabrina Ionescu. She popped off in one of those games for like 66 fantasy points in that game going up against the Sky. Yeah, and that was on the back of a triple double. The other one, she's had some results. Definitely at 11-2, which I believe is what she's at over here on DraftKings. Yeah, 11-2. She's not really my cup of tea that I'm looking at for playing up for guard. Definitely is a huge GPP play that I could definitely see you going to. One of the things to consider is that Chicago, they're not slouches on the guard position when it comes to defending. Sloot, she is a very good defender herself, and she gets up for this matchup going against Sabrina herself anyway. Definitely something that she lives for, that she loves to compete against Sabrina whenever she's out there. And then you also have a pretty good defender in Copper, and then coming off the bench, you also have Gardner, who's also going to be going out there, and she's out there for her defense as well. So definitely some things to think about if you're thinking about playing Sabrina. If anything, I would look at her for a GPP play if you're planning on going that route. Going down to Courtney Vandersloot, her this right here, she's had 2 She played 3 out of the 4 games for them this season. 2 of those games she popped off for close to 50 fantasy points in both those games. Um, and like I said, she gets up for this matchup going up against Sabrina in the couple years that she's been in. And definitely at 9-1, I just think that's such a discount. One thing that you got to realize with a lot of these vets when it comes to the postseason, they turn it up. It goes to another notch when it comes down to that. So Sloot at 9-1, I really do feel like that's a really huge discount that we're going to get her for, considering that she can do it all in regards to scoring, passing, and getting those rebounds. And then, of course, her staple also is on that defensive end where she can get those steals and she get a little blocker too right there, but really those steals because she can get into those passing lanes and she's not called a point guard for nothing, just like Chelsea Gray is, because she can really dish those dimes. The game's looking back going up against Chicago this year. She's had 6 assists, 10 assists, 9 assists, 23 points, 20 points, and 8 points in those games. Definitely something to look at and consider. I really love Courtney Vandersloot. To me, she is my play of the day. I don't see how she does not crush this matchup, especially just knowing how Sloot is whenever it comes down to the postseason. Watching her for the past couple of years, definitely a spot that I'm really going to love Courtney Vandersloot here for that. And I would take her fantasy points prop if it's up on any of those sites. Just how much I love her play today. Copper, I don't hate her at 8,700. If you're looking at maybe she has a safe floor. We know Copper, she's more out there for on the defensive end. If she can get going, she can definitely get going. In the matchups this season, going up against the Liberty, she's had again mixing results just like Sloot has. She had a 31 and 35 fantasy point game, 19 fantasy points game as well out there. So, like I said, mixing bag, but not really something I'm looking at 8,700. I think there's other spots that we can go to. Now, the interesting play on today's slate to me is going to be Laney. I expect Laney to finally get those minutes fully unleashed. We've seen that she went back into the starting lineup last game. She played 27 minutes. We know that she was coming off an injury and they were slowly ramping her back up, which they did. So this right here, I expect her to at least play close to that 30-ish plus minutes out there. And I think that's definitely going to benefit Sabrina a lot, having another focal point out there. And then maybe we might see a reduction in minutes for Crystal Dangerfield, which I hope so, because Dangerfield is just not worth it. If you want to fade for today, please do not play Crystal Dangerfield. Definitely not someone I would be running to plug into my lineups at all by any means. You want to look at her game. She's played 27 minutes, the most going up against Chicago this season, and she has not surpassed points at all at 5,200. She's not worth it. Just go ahead and go down to Raquana Williams right there at 4,900 on DraftKings, and just go ahead and expect that Mercury game to blow out and Raquana to just come in there and get that extra burn that she should get, which we'll dabble on that a little bit more when we get over to that side. Stephanie Dolson, she's of course she played for the Sky last season, so this is a game that she's definitely gotten up at 3 out of the last 4 matchups going up against them. Not a spot that I hate. We do know that the Sky, they can give it up a little bit to the center position, but biggest thing with Dolson is definitely those fouls. And at 7,400, not someone that I'm rushing to plug into my lineup, especially when we have other players like Sims out there. Zura Stevens, we could definitely run to her. I wanted to get a GPP dart or someone that's probably going to at least play 20 plus minutes and can definitely produce while they're out there. And then you can also go down to Han. She's out there as well at 5,800. Someone I don't hate. In her 4 matchups going to Chicago, it's been a mixing bag of results again, but that's what you're going to get with a player that comes off the bench and she's playing a limited amount of minutes. She's not over 25 minutes. I expect her for about 17 20 minutes for today's slate. Definitely she's getting hot out there with her 3-point shot in those putbacks. She can definitely pay off for it. Again, Han is definitely going to be that GPP play that I would be considering for today as well. So really my targets another GPP play is going to be Johanna. Again, with her, it's just so up and down. The minutes between her and Sammy, it's so strange, so crazy. If you can peg them correctly, then you will definitely be a oracle. But as of right now, those two, it's such a mixing results with them. And honestly, for me, I rather fade them as Johanna. She's at 6,500. Not something I'm rushing to play, especially at that price tag when we have other players on the slate that we could definitely go to. Definitely, this is all about picking your spots. I know the starters for a fact because these are best of ones. They're going to play heavy minutes. All these starters, they should at least, especially if the game stay close, playing about 35 minutes. If a game can get out of hand, they can get up by 20 plus, in which we know they can do that in WNBA. We might be able to see some of those bench plays, but I would expect starters to play at least three 3 quarters just to make sure that the game is secured and locked away. I really think that comes into play in that next game for the Mercury going against the Aces, just that high power offense and what they can do out there. But in this game right here, I do expect it to stay close. The Liberties, they really were finding their footing towards the end of the season. They really don't get blown out. They really didn't get blown out that often throughout the season. It's not like one of those bottom teams like the Dream or Indy that we're talking about in regards to getting blown out on a night-to-night basis. Last play that I really want to focus on for the Liberty would be Natasha Howard. She's had 2 great games going against them and then 2 subpar games. Those 2 great games that she had, she really was doing everything from rebounding, blocks, steals, and everything of the sort out there. Definitely someone I would consider if I had to choose one from the Liberty, it would be between Natasha Howard and Laney. Laney, just because she's a little bit cheaper, and I do believe that she will be able to go out there and produce. She should have maybe the Copper matchup, which might kind of limit her a little bit. But if she happens to be on like quickly or something like that, I definitely think she'll be able to get the best of them, especially with her ability to get to the rim. But Natasha Howard, CP3, I know she's going to turn up in the playoffs, but still, she's always lackluster whenever it comes to certain things. So and how having those 2 good games that she was able to have, she's going to be called on right here. She's a vet for a reason. She's been in the league for quite some time. She knows what it's like to be in the playoffs. She played on the Storm, before, and is definitely a player that can produce while she's out there. So someone that I do have high pegged on my list. And then of course, you can go back to Sabrina if you want to, over there. Going over to the Sky side, which I just thought about it, didn't really go over injuries. There's no injuries in this game. We got more than injuries on for the next game. Going over to the Chicago Sky, we know what this team is going to be. Like I said, Sloot, she's going to turn it up. It's the playoffs. Parker, she's going to turn it up. It's the playoffs. Meesman, she's going to turn it up. It's the playoffs. We do know that all these guys, they can definitely turn it up. They can definitely get hot. All these guys, they're vets for a reason. Or not vets for a reason. They're vets. They've been in this game for a long time. They've won championships before. Meesman, she's been an MVP caliber player, playing next to Elena Delle Donne out there. CP3, we just know her repertoire and what she's done. I mean, she's just a tight. But this matchup right here in New York, they're giving up quite a bit of fantasy points to the center position. So this is a spot where we can see Meesman pop off. She did pop off one of those games for 50 burger in this same spot, going up against the Sky early in the season. That was in their second game going up against the Liberty at 8,900. If you're afraid of getting up to Parker, you're afraid of the CP3 being CP3 and coming out having a lackluster game, definitely don't hate that, especially for the fact that Emma Meesman, she is someone that can pass, rebound, and of course, we know she can score out there with best of them. She does have that block upside as well, and definitely those steals. As you can see, she had 3 steals, 1 steal, 2 steals, 2 blocks, a steal, and a block. Definitely someone I would consider over on FanDuel, especially with those 3, with the fantasy points that you get for a block and steal, something to consider over there on that side. Like I said, my favorite play on the slate is going to be Sloot. As you can see, she gets up for this matchup. Those 2 games popping off 49, 47 fantasy points, and just those assists, the scoring, everything is there for her. I really do actually love Sloot's 10.5 points prop. I know that was over on Prize Pick and on Underdog. Definitely a play that I really do have some interest in and don't hate. So if you guys are able to get that in, definitely something to consider on today's slate. Maybe you guys can get that in before it gets bumped or anything like that. Definitely something to look at. But outside of Sloot, of course, you got Copper. GPP play for me quickly. She's just 2-shot reliant. And definitely I can see her being locked down by Laney, or if they decide to put Sammy out there for some defense prowess or something like that. Really quickly, I just don't see this being a game for her. Stevens off the bench, if she can get hot, she can get hot, but she just has to come out firing all cylinders. In this matchup, the couple games going up against New York, she's had a mix and back results. Highest of 28 fantasy points, that was in 31 minutes. Pretty sure CP3 probably didn't play in that game. The other games, just 24, 21, and 23 minutes. Not someone that I'm rushing to, especially for the value that we have in other spots on today's slate. Not something that I'm going to run to plug into my lines at all. Other than that, Gardner, GPP play coming off the bench. Of course, we know she'd be out there for her defense, but nothing to write home about. And then, of course, you can play CP3 at 10-7, but I think I'd rather pay it for Aja Wilson, who should be leading the charge for the Aces in the next game, and definitely what I'll be going for on that side. But that's pretty much it. Like I said, Sloot, you guys can see a little bit of a snippet of the core I'll put it up right here for DraftKings. But Sloot, she'll be my person that I have of interest. Going over to the Mercury taking on the Las Vegas Aces. Like we said, this game right here is a 16-point spread in favor of the Aces, 167.5. Injuries, of course, to note is going to be Skylar Dink's-Smith. She's going to still be out. Griner, she's out. She's overseas. DT, she's out. And Kia Nurse, they're out. Over for the Aces, the Erica Hamber, she's out. Keep an eye out on Kalina Davis. She's expected to be back. If she's not back, then we can. Oops, sorry about that. I don't want going off. If she is out, then we can expect Yvonne Turner to get a boost of some minutes off the bench, but don't expect anything too crazy right there. But definitely something to consider. Either way, Phoenix, the Mercury, throughout the season, they ran their starters into the ground. I don't see that changing at all today with them not running their starters once again into the ground. This is a best of one. Of course, they're coming in as the underdogs. They're really might not even have a fighting chance in this. I don't see a world exactly unless someone was to drastically get injured where the Mercury pull off the upset right here in the spot. And then even when you look back at their game logs going through it, they really hadn't put up the best of stats. Now, most of these stats, of course, are going to be with Skylar Diggins-Smith and Diana Taurasi out there playing. So Shea Petty, Cunningham, Diamond DeShields, and Sims, Turner, that's your starting five. They're going to play the bulk of the minutes. They're going to play 35 to 38 minutes of this game. Honestly, they might play the whole game just trying to keep this game close. Of course, Petty, she has the usage bump like crazy since Skylar's gone out. Diamond, she's been the focal point in regards to scoring. Cunningham just out there sniping threes. So those three right there are the three main beneficiaries of Skylar Diggins-Smith and DT being out. Sims, she's going to be a secondary figure, and Brianna Turner, really not someone I'm going to touch, especially at 7,800. It's just not there. She doesn't really take shots. She's out there for her rebounding and her defense, her shot blocking, things like that she can do, but not someone that I'm going to rush to and run to play at all, especially at 7,800. Not worth it all. Looking at 2 games that she even played against them, 24 and 23 fantasy points at 7,800. It's just not worth it at all. No way, shape, or form would I be going to go do that. Megan, she might get some burnout here in this spot. As you can see, she's played a handful of minutes in those couple of games. And then to end the season, of course, this game, ignore this last game. They got blown out, and also they benched the starters. They had nothing to play for. So that 28 fantasy points, ignore that. It's not real. But other than that, she's playing a handful of minutes, and her minutes are so sporadic. The bench to me really is just they're going to come in and play spurts just to give those starters a rest. But Petty, Cunningham, DeShields, Janae, they're going to be out there for a majority of the game. If I had to rank them in order, to me, it's going to be Diamond DeShields. I know she can pop off. If she can get to the rim, she can score. She can do what she can do, like how she did to end the season. She could definitely do it. Plum, she's not the greatest defender in the world. Jackie Young, Diamond's a little bit bigger than her. She should be able to get around her. I don't see her getting the Chelsea Gray defense, so she should be fine. Even then, if she got Chelsea Gray, Diamond's definitely gonna be faster than Chelsea to get around her, get to the rim, which is where she likes. The only thing she's gonna have to worry about is Kia Stokes in there being able to deter her shots and whatnot. On the other hand, Sophie Cunningham, mixing bag of results again. She's going to be out there primarily. She does a damn outside. She takes a lot of threes. If she can get that 3-point shot flowing and going, she's going to be great out there at 8,800. It's a lean right there for me. Not really something I'm going to. Shea Petty really makes a bag of results for me in this spot. I'm really had a hard time picking her because it's like the usage is there for her. I know she has the ball in her hand quite a bit, especially facilitating the rebounding because it's a group rebounding between all three of them, the guards, and then just trying to help turn it down there. But if I had to rank them, I'm still going to put the Shields first just because the value for one at 8,200. And if the Shield gets hot, she's going to get hot. She could definitely knock down some threes. She's going to score the best of them. I do know she has the defensive upside to get some block steals, things of that nature. Her rebounding is there. And if she's not turning the ball over, trying to be a point guard, which she is not, then she could definitely get a couple of assists. Petty would be the next one just because of the all-around game that she has and everything that she can do. As you can see, we look through the game logs. The Aces, they're not the greatest defensive team in the world. They beat you with their offense and just the fact that they can run you off the court. So these guys do have a chance to stay in this game. They just got to be able to score. That's the biggest thing. They just have to be able to put the ball in the hoop. And it's going to come on the back of Diamond, Cunningham, and Petty. I cannot reiterate that enough. If I'm playing anybody from the Mercs today, it's Diamond, Cunningham, Petty. Diamond being first, Petty, and then Cunningham. All right. Going over to the Aces. this right here, man, this team, they're just, man, they just playing some magical ball. Again, just like with everyone else, starters should play heavy minutes, especially if the Mercs can keep this game close. If not, I'm expecting at least 3 quarters out of the starters in this game. No one's gonna be able to hold Aja, as you can see. mm, She only played 23 minutes in this game, and she dropped 22 fantasy points. Of course, as you can see, it was 100 to 80. Blow them out. She didn't need to play. 34 minutes, she dropped 40 fantasy points, and then 29 minutes, she dropped 34 fantasy points. If I was just trying to come out here and make a statement, pop off, she can actually score with the best of them at 11.5. I don't hate it. I honestly think she is one of the top studs on the slate. She's going to be able to go out there and do whatever she wants. Brown attorney's not going to be able to hold her down and do anything whatsoever. This is definitely her time to shine and go out there and pop off. Chelsea Gray, I really don't think they're going to really need Chelsea that much today, but looking at it, she's had pretty good game logs. Like I said, the Mercury, they were at the bottom of the league in defensive standing for quite some time, and they still are. It's not like they're any better with that. These are two teams that honestly rely on their offense and what they can do out there. But Chelsea Gray, I don't hate it. I think I'd rather go up and play for Sloot if I'm gonna pay right there. But if you want to come down and get Chelsea Gray, it's definitely actually costs more. Oh, yeah, I'd rather play Sloot over Chelsea Gray. Sloot is cheaper, but if you want a GPP play, Chelsea Gray, we do know she can pop off. She did drop 56 points, which helped me almost take down that GPP 2 days ago. Don't hate Chelsea Gray, especially for the fact of she is a facilitator. She can do what she goes out there and does. Kelsey Plum, she's in another great spot. As you can see, 40, 30, 35 fantasy points in those 3 games that they did play against the Merc. They're not going to be able to hold her. There was actually a versus over on what site? Over on over on Underdog. Sorry about that. Over on Underdog, Underdog had a versus between her and Cunningham. Definitely, I would take Kelsey if I had to pick one of the two. If I'm going with anything right there. 1 second. Computer is acting funny. Okay, there we go. All right, going down to Jackie Young. Jackie Young in this spot. Ooh, she's popped off. 30, 35, 37 fantasy points. I mean, you're seeing the trend. As long as they get the minutes and if they keep this game close, I really feel like this game is going to be the game that we want to stack in regards to who's going to do what. If I had to do anything, I'm running it back with Diamond. Definitely play her. Run anything back with Diamond, and then maybe Aja and Plum, Aja and Jackie. Some type of combinations with that. I mean, then if you just want to go double guards, Plum and Jackie, we do know that they play off each other very well out there in regards to what they can do. I don't hate any mixing pool of any of those right there if we're trying to game stack in regards. But I just feel like this game right here is definitely going to be the game that we want to game stack. Now, looking over at it, some scenarios that we can go over. So now let's say that the other game blows out. You definitely think it's going to blow out. If I had to, I'd at least take Diamond just because she is the cheaper one out of it. Kia Stokes, she's going to be out there. She's going to play the minute. She's going to be able to rebound, get a couple of box steals, things of that nature. Let's look and see what she's done actually in this spot going up against them. She only played 19 minutes. She dropped 11 fantasy points, 2 points, 5 rebounds, 1 block, 1 assist. Not really nothing for us to write home about, but I'm gonna take it. The value's there. Now you don't got to go Aja. We don't. We don't. We can come down here. We can play CP3. This one will stack at least with 7,700, and you get go ahead plug in maybe like I don't know, Raquana Williams. You have Natasha Howard. You can plug that in. Definitely get you some more value at the guard position. Maybe play one of those guards that are going to come off the bench in Gardner or something like that. Definitely a whole bunch of different ways that you can go. Now, if we're playing the blowout card, of course, and if you think it's going to blow out and they're not going to play their starters in that later game, then someone like Megan, someone that you can consider. Rupert, someone that you can also consider. Now, if we're expecting that the first game is going to stay really close, like I said, Sloot, Parker, and then for me, I'd take Howard since I had her valued over Sabrina. Really don't know how she's going to do on the stage right here. That would probably be the start of the core. Or if we want to get a little bit cheaper and we can come down and get probably the same value out of Meesman that we can for CP3. Don't hate this variety of a core right here as well. And then again, like I've been saying almost the whole time, we can run it back with Diamond Shields from that late game. Boom. And then shoot. Actually, we can also plug in Stokes. Boom. At least with 7,800, And our value that you have down here at 7,800, I'm not playing Turner, not someone I'm going to mess with. Dolson, nope. Oh, look at that. Boom. You can fit Laney. Let me go ahead and delete that before DraftKings has a heart attack. But yeah, see, a couple of different combinations that we can go with right here. And definitely, I just put together a pretty decent GPP line right there for you. Definitely something I would consider. So that was Meesman, Sloot, Diamonds of Shield, Howard, Laney, and Kia Stokes. That's a really, really decent lineup right there to consider right there. All right, guys, that's going to be it for me. If you guys want the cores, they're definitely posted to the Patreon. Already put those up, including for the showdown slates. I put cores up for both of those, core for FanDuel and core for DraftKings. Definitely subscribe to the channel if you guys are enjoying the breakdowns. Talk to me down in the comment section. If there's anything you want to see me improve, definitely can do that. If the mic's too loud or you want me to talk a little bit slower, let me know. I can definitely improve all those things. Looking forward to trying to continue to do these breakdowns, especially as the playoffs continue and especially as NBA season rolls around. That'll be nightly streams every single night, doing breakdowns for those things. Hopefully we can get something started for NFL. I'm looking for my partner for NFL. Hopefully I have someone joining me soon to be able to do those breakdowns as well. But other than that, guys, keep crushing it. Keep doing it. I hope to see all of you guys in the green. Until next